Alrighty. Okay. All right. So, hi everyone. Welcome to the summer internship series, navigating an internship, making a successful start with Beyond Barnard. My name is Camille Hall. I am the associate director for internships and student employment, and I'm joined by my great colleague Zena, who will introduce herself.
Hi, everybody. Good to see everybody. Like Camille said, welcome to the start of our summer internship series. My name is Zena Jones. I'm the internship program coordinator at Beyond Barnard. Happy to be here with you all.
All right. So again, welcome to the first webinar in Beyond Barnard's 2021 summer intern series. As you all know, this is part of Beyond Barnard's summer colloquium. We will go over some things for you to do and to think about as you begin your internship. Then we'll engage in some conversation with you about potential challenges you may face, and we'll walk you through the process of setting some goals for your experience. So again, we hope that this is going to be like more like a dialogue. Feel free to unmute your microphone, your camera to share, or feel free to put things into the chat. If questions arise, please, you're welcome to do so. Okay. So we're going to move on to the first part of this presentation here, or dialogue, I should say. So there's some key goals. We're going to focus on concrete steps to maximizing your summer experience, key skills that you hope to gain or hone during your summer internship, and then go over, if you're willing to share, 3 to 5 SMART goals to work on this summer. Okay. So let's start with your to-do list in regards to starting your internship. Some of you have already started. Some of you are preparing for your first day at your internship site. So you want to make sure that you have your to-do list together. Something that we feel is really important is familiarizing yourself with the job and the organization. Probably a lot has happened since you've applied. So it'll be a really good opportunity for you to, reread the job description, really know, what you are about to experience, or the expectations based on the job that you pursued. Another way that you could go into this or go about that is, taking some time to look over the company's website, checking out their about pages. This is a really great way to review any staff bios, get a sense of who you're going to be working with, with the team, get a sense of where maybe your supervisors, let's say, trajectory to the position that they're in. Just really getting a feel of who you're going to be working with. And also giving yourself time to maybe even reflect on your interview experience, and what is it that you stated that you want to bring to the table, or what you want to contribute. All of these things just to get you in the mindset for this new learning experience and the people that you potentially going to be working with. Something else that you could do to consider or add to your to-do list, if you haven't done so already, is research the team. You can research a team on LinkedIn. There's no need to, let's say, connect just yet, but you can make note of places where your interests and experiences overlap with those of the staff that you are about to join. I think we'll touch on this a little bit about networking and how do you build, connections with the people that you work with. And that's a good way to go about that, is kind of getting a sense of, excuse me, interests and experiences that you may share with your potential team members. Something that you definitely want to do, reach out to your supervisor. By now, you should have a clear sense of who that is. That might typically be the person that interviewed you, but it's really good to reach out to your supervisor, make sure all logistics for the start of your internship is confirmed. Also, confirming again expectations of your role is essential to have a successful start. you definitely want to make sure that you ask for any, pertinent details and or advice for starting out. So for example, getting a sense of your, especially let's say if you're working virtually, getting a sense of, like online time commitments, offline hours or breaks, like what does that look like? What's the expectation for that? And let's say the frequency of virtual meetings that may be taking place. So really, making sure that you get a sense of that will be important. If you're not working virtually, or let's say it's hybrid, again, all those things are, pretty much the same thing, like knowing the time commitments, expectations of like the time that you're putting in, the breaks that you have, and any meetings that you are expected to show up is really important. So again, reconfirm start date, hours, and also, any compensation that has been agreed upon. It's really important that you know that before you start, because you would, I wouldn't like any of you to be in a situation where, the expectation, let's say for students who are not part of the Beyond Barnett internship program, if there is a discussion about compensation and that's not confirmed, I'd hate for you to be, interning, expecting to be paid, and then you don't get paid. So definitely get those logistics down. In regards to, again, getting logistics down, this is a really good time to also, get a sense of, let's say, the internship culture that you're going to be coming into. If your job is virtual, getting the sense of the virtual culture of your internship. I mean, that does probably sounds a little funny, but there's ways to kind of get a sense of that. So knowing how and when to check into work is important, especially if you're virtual. Know what your exact task and projects will be. Also confirming your access to virtual tools and platforms, conference call lines, and etc., that you need to communicate and engage with your work will be essential for you to know ahead of time to, again, have a successful start. If you're doing hybrid or in person, pretty much the same thing, like, knowing when do you need to arrive to work, what exactly are your tasks and projects, so you know how to navigate that first, let's say, first week or so, and confirming access to whatever tools that you need, to engage in your work successfully when you show up is going to be really important. So some of these things might be, maybe you've heard before, or, you've thought about it, but it wasn't the forefront of your mind. These are things that you definitely want to think about and confirm ahead of time in regards to your to-do list. All right. Any questions? You're welcome to throw stuff in the chat or unmute yourself. Perfectly fine with that. If not, we'll move on. All right. So additional pro tips in regards to, let's say, this can go for virtual, in-person, or hybrid. When you have your meetings, you definitely want to make sure that you arrive early. It's always good to like get settled, ahead of time. I forgot the saying, but showing up on time can mean that basically like you're like late. So, try your best to make sure that you are arriving 5 minutes early to your meetings, whether that's virtual or in person. Definitely want to make sure that you take initiative. Ask about additional opportunities to gain skills and learn more about the company and industry. So, once you get settled into understanding your key projects and tasks, if there is space, if you have that bandwidth, it doesn't hurt to ask, like, are there additional opportunities for you to learn more? Because an internship is a short period of time. And the way how you can maximize on that learning experience is by, engaging in more opportunities that may be available to you. Something that you also may want to, especially during this time, is also be patient. There's a lot of things that may be happening behind the scenes at your internship site that you may just not be aware of. And the turnaround may not be as, I guess, quick as you want. So do allow some space. I do allow some space for responses, especially if you're in a situation where, you know, your team members are spread out, let's say, I don't know, across the country, or it's a very it's a work environment where you have some people that are virtual, some that are hybrid, some that are in person, and the lines of communication may not be direct. So just keep that in mind. All right. Always ask questions. Again, this is a learning experience. Don't be afraid, or, you know, try not to be hesitant to ask questions to get clarity. It's really important for you to just really get an understanding of, you know, the work that you're doing, or maybe get an understanding of the other work that people are doing, and how that all collectively aims or works towards the mission and the vision of the organization that you're working for. So, you know, as an intern, you know, always ask questions like, what does that mean? You know, how does that affect, you know, the outcome of X, Y, and Z that you're doing? Or why is that particular person, why does this particular person is, you know, plays a pivotal role in our success? Like, depending on what industry you're in, you know the questions on how to craft it, but ask questions. There's nothing wrong with that. Engage in networking opportunities with your organization, both with full-time staff and fellow interns. Now, again, with the world that we live in now, I understand that, you know, networking opportunities may not be as easy to go about. If you have the opportunity, or if you're in a situation where you're possible to work in person, and there is, you know, let's say the after work gatherings, or the opportunities to have lunch, or, you know, quote unquote, the water cooler, you know, talk, or whatever the case is, that might be a little easier to do in person, but a number of you may be in, you know, virtual work settings. So this is going to look different. So some things that, you know, to network, casually networking might consist of, let's say your organization has virtual morning chats, where there's just like an informal space for colleagues to meet up. You know, if you're available to do that, you know, take advantage of it. If there's any, let's say, post-work social hour, if that's something that you're interested in, to like network and just get to know your colleagues better, go for it. You know, some jobs might offer virtual hangouts and etc. You know, whatever that the organization offers, or if, let's say, you find a way to connect with your team members or your fellow interns, go for it, because it really does help to foster a sense of community with the organization and the people who you work with. So, you know, and that does play a role in the overall experience that you will have this summer. It's not only the, you know, the work that you're doing and how you're contributing to the organization, but also that sense of community that you will develop, or hope to develop over the summer. Something else to consider: ask for feedback and accept constructive criticism. Again, this is a learning experience that obviously will help you professionally and shape how you move after this summer for future opportunities. So getting feedback on and constructive criticism as to, you know, what went well, or areas of improvement that you can consider, are all important as you develop yourself professionally. Also, keep track of your accomplishments. Some of you might be entering internship organizations or sites where it's fast moving, it's very busy. Perhaps your supervisor can only meet you certain times this summer for check-ins. Maybe it's not as frequent as you would like. So something that you could do on your end is take the initiative and keep track of your own accomplishments, your own, you know, your outcomes, how you contributed. And that's something that when you do meet with your supervisor, you can, you know, bring to the table and bring up. and express to them, how you were able to assist with a certain project or help a project reach completion, or so forth. So it's really important that you do take the time to keep track of your own accomplishments, because it's not, saying that people are not, I guess, noticing that, but you are the best person to, brag about yourself. So it's really important that you, don't don't have hesitation to, like, basically, like, indicate, like, this is what I've done, which will come handy as you move forward. Questions, concerns, any thoughts that come up? All right, I give that pause. All right, so I'm going to move on. All righty. So let's move on to your think list. What do you want to learn before the end of the summer? Things you want to learn before the end of the summer. So, that might consist of like hard skills, soft skills, and also like just a mixture of skills that you might want to gain. So hard skills, when I say hard skills, it's like, let's say, like stated on the slides here, let's say knowing different platforms, or, data analysis tools, or different type of tools that help you with your work. Also, things that you might want to consider learning in regards to soft skills is maybe how to best manage a project, or how to enhance your programming skills, or let's say event planning, and working well with your teammates, how to solve a complex problem. These are things that you want to, think about like, what do you want to learn? What do you want to gain from this experience? And why do you want to gain them? That's something that you want to definitely ask yourself, is why and how can I gain these skills? And that will shift how you, I guess, navigate that internship space. So therefore, at the end of your internship, you have, I guess, a nice portfolio of work that you have accomplished, that you could share with your supervisor, and also use those skills to, bring you to the next opportunity that awaits you afterwards. So I think those are things that you definitely want to, consider. Questions? Okay, we'll move on. Actually, let me go back a little bit here. I think, actually, let me see. Actually, I guess we'll move on to the next slide. If there's any questions that come up, we'll go on. So I'm actually going to pass the baton, and you've heard my voice quite a bit already. So I'm going to pass the baton to my colleague, Zena.
Okay, so we want to give you the opportunity to jump in the chat and let us know what your potential challenges or obstacles for growth, what you think a potential challenge would be at your internship that you may need to overcome, or just may pose as an obstacle for growth. So feel free to drop in the chat anything that comes to mind when you think of challenges. Could it be you might not have enough hours, or you might have a project that may be that you've been given by your supervisor that you might not have enough time to complete. What are some of your thoughts? So we want to give you an opportunity to drop those in the chat, and let us know if you've faced any challenges so far, or if you can think of anything that might come up or may pose as a potential challenge. And then when you're thinking about challenges that may come up in your internship, what are some resources that you can think of for overcoming those challenges? what are some things that are available for you to access that maybe would be good in overcoming those challenges that you may be facing, or um, that could, or that you can possibly face in your internship. Anyone want to drop some thoughts in the chat?
Or if you prefer to unmute yourself, you're welcome to do that as well. But I do see something in the chat right now. Zena, do you see it on your own?
Yes. So we got no structured assignments. I end up having a lot of time and sometimes struggle to use it productively towards my work. That's good. I've been at my internship for a few weeks now. Found it challenging occasionally that my supervisor does not always provide explicit details. That is a challenge about projects and tasks at hand. Overcome this by being confident and trusting my ability to begin working on a project and then returning to him with specific questions for feedback. That's awesome.
Sorry to interrupt you. I just want to go back because since we see more coming in, back to that first one. The student says no structured assignments, so I end up having a lot of time and sometimes struggle to use it productively towards my work. Again, I'm not sure, obviously the student's full situation, but if it is possible for you to meet with your supervisor and possibly suggest like a calendar of like when these tasks need to, I guess, be completed, perhaps that will help so it doesn't all just like become help with your productivity. Because based on what you just said, I could definitely see how that can be a challenge when it's not structured. It's just coming at you from different angles and you're not quite sure maybe when it needs to be completed, what's the deadline. So I'm hoping, and I'm guessing because I'm just reading from the text, I'm hoping that there's an opportunity soon for you to, bring up this concern with your supervisor and like plan accordingly moving forward. And the other student, Maya, I've been in my internship for a few weeks now. I found a challenging occasion that explicit details. Okay, I've overcome this by being confident, trusting my ability to begin working on the project, and then run into. Oh, okay. So that's great. Thank you, Maya, for that suggestion, because that's maybe something that that other students in a similar situation can utilize is by really like reaching out to your supervisor directly with questions, specific questions for feedback. So we appreciate you putting that into the chat. And Zena, I think some more are now coming in. Helen Hung, time management, not knowing how much time to allocate to different tasks. Zena, you want to talk about anything about like tips on time management for the students who are experienced that?
Well, as far as time management, I think that I think what first comes to mind is, I guess, getting a sense of when deadlines are. So just confirming and clarifying with your supervisor when he or she wants to have that task done. So just, if they give you a task and they say, as soon as possible, just get some clarity on, do you want this at the end of business, the close of business? Do you want this by tomorrow? And just getting like a sense of when those tasks need to be done. So that way, for sure that you can, manage your time and get that task done as soon as, by the deadline, or, even before the deadline. And that way you can manage your schedule, your calendar, so that your task can get done by the deadline. But always get clarity about when your tasks need to be done. I think that's probably the best thing to do on my end, from what I think.
Yeah. And to echo what Zena said, definitely clarity, because sometimes just in the midst of work, like Zena said, people say like, oh yeah, as soon as possible, or end the day. And in their head, as soon as possible means different. It's something different than what you think, or end the day means something different than what you think. So definitely, like Zena mentioned, is like getting real, like specific answers is going to be important. And just to add, like, let's say if you have multiple supervisors, because you might be in a situation where you have like two individuals for whatever reason. Maybe you have a project that requires for you to work with two, I guess, directors or whatever the case is. Being specific about what they mean is going to be really important, because supervisor A and the day might mean 5 p.m., but supervisor B and the day might be 11:59 a.m. kind of thing. I mean, I'm sorry, yeah, 11:59 p.m. So getting real specific with your team members is important.
And Catherine gave a great solution to asking questions, smaller questions in between meetings, or just popping into someone's office. Since a lot of us are virtual still, that's hard to do. So Camila and I have like a little running joke that we call each other when we have questions, but we say we're popping into each other's office. So that's one solution, but Catherine offered a great solution about asking questions with checking in every 15 minutes, every couple of days, just to kind of, get a brief overview or answer any questions that you might have. Definitely jot down those questions so that you don't forget. I know I need to do that a lot. So I, make sure I keep a running list of questions. And then once you have those check-ins, then you can ask those questions. That's good feedback. Anybody else have any suggestions, helpful hints, any challenges, any other challenges that you might have faced or you think might come up? These are good good things to talk about. So thanks for everyone that put ideas in the chat. Okay.
All right.
So let's move on. If there isn't anything else, we can move on.
Okay.
And we'll move on to summer goals. So it's really good to create at least 3 to 5 goals that you want to achieve this summer in your internship. And what we encourage you to do is to meet with your supervisor at the onset of your internship, or at some point, even in the midpoint of your internship, and review these goals that you've set up for yourself to attain. You might, have certain goals for yourself that you want to achieve, and your supervisor may have another idea of, goals that they want you to achieve, but they want you to help them achieve. So just making sure your goals align with their goals for the organization is a good way to start your internship. It's a good way to kind of get a sense of what is expected at your internship and what you are expected to do. So definitely, once you create those 3 to 5 goals, meet with your supervisor and review them. Use information and ideas to what to do and what to think. So make sure your goals are smart. Make sure that you know exactly what you want to accomplish and why you want to accomplish these goals. It's very helpful in, just getting through the internship on a day-to-day basis. Make sure that these goals are achievable, and mix it up. Make sure that, you want to set goals that are good for that internship at the moment, but you want to make sure that you set goals for your internship and beyond. So if you wanted to, get into another experience, just making sure that those, your internship experience aligns with your overall goals. Excuse me. And always look for ways to incorporate them into your existing responsibilities. Um, any questions so far? And just to get a sense of, if you haven't started your internship yet, have you set any goals? Has anyone set any goals and has met with their supervisor just yet, or are you waiting to meet with your supervisor and review your goals? I'm just curious. You can drop it in the chat if you want. You don't have to unmute yourself, or if you don't feel like it. Okay, looks like no one has met with anyone yet. Okay, that's cool. The summer is still young, so we can move on to the next.
Okay. Oh, someone just dropped something in the chat before I move on.
Okay. Okay, I do see it. My supervisor and I meet weekly, so usually we develop a to-do list for the week. That's awesome.
Oh, I think Tess just agreed as well.
Okay. All right, great. Anyone else have any ideas, goals that they've met with their supervisor to review? And if not, don't feel bad about it. The summer's still young, like I've said. Oh, okay. I met with one of my supervisors and discussed my general goals, but I'm waiting to get more clarity on my specific project to set more. That was from Annie. That's good. That's awesome. And like I said, we encourage you to meet with your supervisor to get, to set your goals. And then even at the midpoint, just making sure that you're wherever you are, just gauging where you are in achieving those goals is helpful also. So, okay, we can move on to the next slide. Okay, so make sure when you're setting your goals that you make your goals smart. It's always is a good saying that, don't make things harder, make things smarter, like do things smarter. So just be very specific. What exactly do you want to accomplish? And always think about this in the long term. Even in making short-term goals, always think about how they will affect the long term. Make sure that your goals are meaningful. Specifically, why do you want to accomplish these goals? Do they align with what you want to do in the future, beyond Barnard? No pun intended, but beyond your years at Barnard, what do you want? Why do you want to accomplish these goals, and do they align with those long-term goals? And just making sure that those goals are achievable. How can you structure this so you aren't set up for failure? So you want to make sure that the goals that you set are realistic, that they definitely align with your long-term goals, and that they're things that you can definitely achieve and get done. Making sure that your goals are relevant. Why would the achievement of this goal matter to you? And just making sure that whatever time limit that or timeline that you set for yourself, just asking yourself, when will you accomplish this goal? Okay, any questions so far? Any comments so far about any goal setting, any challenges with goal setting so far? if you've started your internship yet, and even if you haven't started your internship yet, if anyone has started thinking about goals that they want to achieve. Any questions, comments? Okay. Anything you want to add, Camille, to?
Actually, I think you covered, I mean, based on the last part of the presentation, I think you covered pretty much everything. Again, like Zena said, we if there's any questions or concerns, we're welcome to open this up. Before we close, because I'll take off this presentation, so just to make it where, you know, we could talk. You know, just want to let you know that we will be doing 2 more of these, you know, creating these spaces where you could come in and I guess you could say like check in with us and check in with your peers just to see how you're doing over the summer in regards to navigating your internship. Some of you've interned before, some of you it's your first time. So we'll have a midpoint and then we'll also have a concluding your internship session. And again, you know, it's a space, you know, to just allow you to get comfortable, you know, sharing where you are and gathering tips from each other on how to move forward. So, you know, we hope that this is a good space that you feel comfortable sharing. And obviously, if there are things that come up that are, you know, you need maybe like, you know, want to talk to us more in a one-on-one situation, that's perfectly fine. You could reach out to us directly. We could schedule an appointment and we could proceed that way because we understand depending on the situation, you may want to talk to us one-on-one. And again, we just want to, you know, I want to emphasize like, please, if you are in a situation where you need someone to talk to, feel free to reach out to us. We don't want anyone to go through let's say a challenging situation by themselves when you could use this as a resource. Okay. Or we could refer you to resources that you can tap into.
Okay.
Any other questions? Questions or concerns? Comments in the chat? All right, well, let me make sure. Any other questions, concerns? Well, if there's no other questions, then we will close this conversation for today. Again, we appreciate everyone. You're very welcome. You're very welcome. I love the fact that you all showed up today, Wednesday, midday. I'm sure you all are very busy. So thank you. We look forward to, you know, checking in with you again in the summer. Look out for your email reminder from Handshake for the next upcoming part of this series.
Yeah.
All right.
Thanks, everybody. Have a great day. Enjoy the weather. If you're in NYC, it's hot.
All right. Bye, everyone.
Bye.